their communities worldwide. Ensure that you are sharing this show, you're subscribing, and you also are leaving us a review so we can create more amazing content around those areas to help you level up to the next level and also bring amazing guest experts that can share their knowledge and expertise with you so that you can create amazing legacy. All right, Legacy Builders, welcome back to another show. I'm so excited to be back with you with another amazing guest and conversation. I'm so excited to kind of bring to you an amazing expert and talk to you about how to create 6 and 7 figure events. I know that events in our businesses are very important because, as purpose driven as we are, we love to impact people. We love to share our message with the world. So that's definitely a way for you to scale. We talk about scaling here all the time, right? To scale your message, scale your impact, and of course, increase your profitability as well. So I'm so excited to welcome Shay Wheat, the CEO of her amazing company. Shay, if you can share with us some of the few most meaningful moments that led you to this work that you're doing today, and welcome.
Well, thank you. I appreciate the opportunity to be here and sharing with you and your audience. Kind of how I got here was kind of a funny thing. I like to say I fell into it. So I was speaking on somebody else's stage. It was a multi-speaker event, and I was kind of just messing around with the guy in front of me that we were switching microphones back and forth. And I'm like, "Hey, dude, don't go spitting on my mic." And he was like, "Oh my God, you're funny. Who are you?" Come to find out, he was the head of education for Dr. Oz's nonprofit. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I just met his sister, Saval Oz, at Maria Shriver's women's conference when she was the first lady of California. Well, turns out she's best friends with their CEO. They were doing a women's conference and they said, you should help us. And I went, okay. So
That's
that's
great.
kind of how I got started. I was my very first gig as an associate producer was in charge of over 100 volunteers and over 70 speakers. And from there I went, okay, I kind of enjoy this. I kind of have a knack for it. Let's see where this goes. And that's kind of how my business started.
Well, talk about purpose, right? You being in the right place at the right time, as that always usually happens. That's a very, very funny story. I love that. But yeah, I mean, look at that, and you've been, focusing on this and helping so many people and entrepreneurs, or even, probably speakers as well, kind of leverage this
Mhm.
part of the business model, so to speak, to kind of do more good in the world and to share our message and impact. But I just wanted to ask you, from your own words and what you've seen with your work day to day, what are some of the benefits to focusing on creating events as a business model that we can even, add to what we're currently doing, or just focus on that completely? To each his own, right? Because everybody
Yeah.
makes those decisions for themselves.
Yeah, absolutely. So the reason I love events is they allow you to really leverage your time and your money. So with a lot of our clients, they have a heartstring that they want to support nonprofits. So for example, in one of our events, one of my clients had a nonprofit fundraiser where we ended up raising enough money to pull out 9 Golden Gate bridges full of plastic out of the ocean because she absolutely loves the ocean and she wanted to keep it around for generations to come. I've got another client that is really focused on wanting to create a safe container around sensitive subjects so that they actually can be talked about. I've got other clients that are wanting to support speakers in getting on more stages and really allowing them to make an even bigger impact in the world. Because when we speak our truth and speak our message, we're allowed to touch more people. And even though there's, all kinds of different coaches out there, there's you with your specific message allowing you to connect with your specific audience. Even if there's a ton of other speakers out there, we just have to find that little piece that makes you different, that your audience is just drawn to you. And so that's why I love it, is because it allows us to gain visibility, allows us to grow, it allows us to scale and leverage and go from one-on-one conversations to one to many and really make a bigger impact on a larger scale. And, the money doesn't hurt as well, right? Like in our 3-day events, our clients are making $500,000, $1 million. I have one client that made $2.1 million in one virtual live 3-day event.
Mm.
So we really love supporting them in creating that experience and taking people on a journey that allows them to get from where they're at to where they want to be. And an event allows us to do that.
Yeah, absolutely. No, you're definitely speaking our love language, because in order for us to leverage our creativity, our vocation, this could be a perfect thing for somebody once you understand the steps on how to actually go about this. So that would actually be my next question. So how do we get started with this?
Yeah. Well, so in my 10 years of doing this, I've kind of realized that there's a number of different phases that people are in. So it's the phases of event leverage. So when you're starting out, you're figuring things out, right? You're really kind of in the discovery phase. You're in the, validation phase, making sure that what it is that you do, what it is that you offer. You want to get 10 clients that are paying you, get them crazy awesome results, rinse and repeat. Now we have proof of concept. Then you're moving into phase 2, which is your visibility. And this is doing just that. It's getting on the free platforms, the Facebook Lives, the Instagram Lives, the LinkedIn Lives, the Clubhouse rooms, like being on other people's stages, other people's webinars, podcasts, summits, and sponsoring events with your ideal audience in the audience, right? So we're testing, we're tweaking and adjusting. The reason we do this and we don't go straight to, let's say, a 1-day or a 3-day event is because you're still building. And I want you to have this amazing platform that allows you to start bringing in the income, start testing out your talk, start testing out everything of how you speak the language of your audience. And then you can start continuing to grow, which is phase 3, and making your own stages, your own masterclasses, your own webinars, your own summits, your own events that will bring in more income. So that way you can bring on team to support you in continuing to scale and leverage, which is phase 4 and 5, where you're doing the 1-days and the 3-day events to really support your audience and you staying in your zone of genius. Right. So like that is the best way that I've seen all of our clients grow, is going through these phases of event leverage to scale.
Yeah, no, I love how you broke that down, because I agree with the same concept as I coach people to grow their businesses. That, there's different phases to business growth. And sometimes when you don't know what phase you might be in, you might be focusing on the wrong priorities or solving the wrong problem. And of course, you're not going to get the result that you're looking for. But I love how you kind of stepped it up into sort of like phase 1, 2, 3. And obviously that's the growth, right? You build yourself out there, you grow your audience, you grow your network, you have clarity on your messaging, on your client avatar, and all these things that are foundational pieces of the business. And then once you have that foundation laid out, then you can think of, okay, how is it that I can, put together my own event? So then my question for you, because I know a lot of my audience is in the phase 3, 4, and 5, moving along that way. So what are some of the things that you would like to share with them, being that in that phase, based on your expertise, that you find it will help them to kind of leverage this as a great opportunity for themselves?
Yeah, absolutely. So if you're in the grow, scale, and leverage phase, you're going to be utilizing a couple of different types of the 17 different types of events that are out there in the space. So you're going to be doing masterclasses, webinars, summits to kind of introduce what it is that you're doing and continue to grow your list. Now, let's say you're in phase 4 or 5, scaling and leverage, and you're like leading them to what we call a sales and enrollment event or a conversion event, where you're spending 3 days with them with the objective to move them into your 6-month or your year-long group coaching program. You're still going to be doing the master classes, the webinars, the summits leading into it, because those are great opportunities for you to fill the room. That is probably the biggest question I get, is how in the world do I fill my room? How do I get people to show up? You're going to look at other people's stages, you're going to be creating your own stages, and you're going to be looking at speaker sponsorships. Speaker sponsorships right now are absolutely huge. All of my clients are getting on other people's stages doing a speaker sponsorship, meaning they're willing to pay to play because somebody else has brought their ideal audience into a room. And let's say it's got 50 people, 100 people, 200 or more people in the room that is your ideal audience. If I know that my program is $5,000, $10,000, and I can be in a room of 100 people of my ideal audience, offer a free lead magnet to come into my world that I can continue to start to nurture, that I can then invite into a masterclass, or I can invite to, a webinar or something. I know I can get half of the room or more to say yes to my lead magnet. I nurture them, move them into one of my events, my smaller events, my 90-minute masterclass, to then move them into, a one-on-one conversation with me. Bam. I know that out of that, just knowing the numbers and knowing my conversion rates, black and white numbers, I know what it's going to bring me in on the back end, right? So knowing your numbers is absolutely huge and knowing if a speaker sponsorship is a right fit for you. Okay.
Yeah.
That's one piece of it. And so it's better. It's honestly better than a lot of like the Facebook ads and all of the ads that you're going to be putting in there, because these are people that are actually showing up excited and wanting to learn what you have to offer. Right. And so instead of just kind of like shooting and throwing spaghetti against the wall and hoping you hit the right target market,
Yeah.
this is your target market.
Absolutely, which is why I love anything interaction-wise, live event, or even, virtual, anything virtual meetups, right? Because, it's the energy, it's the impact. You get to feed off of one another, you get to co-create, you get to do so many beautiful things. And I also, personally love the model of events as well, for myself, and where I'm also growing and creating the impact that I desire. But Shay, I have a question for you, because right now I know you just explained the different types of things. We've been used to hearing this in the market around different terms, like set up a challenge, set up a masterclass, set up a workshop, like all these different types of confusing information. Is there some clarity that you can give us on the sequence of events that we should be structuring, so we know, like, okay, here's the first thing, and then the second, and then the third, and then the fourth thing. So we're just building it up slowly to that know, like, and trust, so that we get to, create more impact with what we're doing, whether we're monetizing via our programs or offers, or we're monetizing via the event or the sponsorships that you mentioned.
Yeah, absolutely. So anytime you were looking to, let's say, do a 3-day event, we'll just use that as one of our examples. The objective of a 3-day event is to move people into your high ticket offer. Let's say your $10,000 year-long group coaching program. So in order for us to go, if that's the end result, that's what we want, how do we figure out how we're going to get there? So we utilize something called a ticket map. In your ticket map, this is all the ways that we are looking to connect with our ideal audience, of having them show up to get a ticket to our 3-day event. And then we know once they're in the 3-day event, a percentage of people that stay are going to move into our high ticket program. Again, knowing the numbers. So what does a ticket map look like? So if you were to take a spreadsheet, the first column is you want to go ahead and have all the opportunities and all the ticket sources. So is it coming from your email list? Is it coming from, a bunch of webinars that you're doing? Do you have a couple sponsorships, referrals, bring a friend campaign? Maybe you've got some other digital courses that you end up bonusing in an event ticket to, like they buy your $1,000 program and they end up getting a ticket to your 3-day event. Other speaking engagements, joint venture partner calls. Like, what are all the different ways that you're going to be engaging with your audience? The next column is, when are you actually going to do it? Put it on the calendar. When is it happening? The next column is, how many people are we anticipating being in the room for that specific sponsorship or speaking engagement? Then we want to look at the conversion of how many people that see it or listen to your talk and you give the call to action to buy a ticket to your event. What is the anticipated conversion rate for them to say yes and get a ticket? That gives us our projected ticket sales. If you're going to do a bring a friend campaign, you want to do a percentage of that. And then that tells you how many tickets you're bringing in. When you add all of those things up, that gives us our goal, right? So our combined ticket projection. And so if we know we need 100 people in the room, we're going to take a ticket map and fill it out to the point where, let's say we have 150 tickets sold in order to have 100 people actually show up to the event and be in the room at the time of the offer. So we start with the end in mind and we just break it down from there. So that is one of the key pieces that I see people can literally map out how to fill their programs, how to fill their events. Works just the same. Even if you don't do a 3-day event, you just go, I need to bring in 10 more people into my program. Great. Do a ticket map for your program. How are you going to reach all of your audience members in order to hit those numbers, right? That's a key piece. That is probably the biggest piece that people go, oh my God, I want to do an event, but I'm so scared. I don't know how to fill my room and how do I get people to show up?
Yes.
Do a ticket map. That's the biggest thing for you to start with.
I think that might be a big piece missing out there in the market, the ticket map, because that's always my own questions in my own events, and even the events that I usually go to. How do you fill the room? Because I notice even live events are harder to get people to participate than virtual ones, right? So I think these are all questions that we all have, and then the other piece around, how do you market? How do you reach the right audience? How do you fill the event with the right people? So I think you answered a lot of that as well. Do you have any other insight that you would like to add?
Oh, so many things. So you're asking a little bit like, what is a sequence? So when you map out your ticket map and you go, okay, in order for me to hit 100 people, 150 tickets, to have 100 people show up to my event, I need to have this many master classes and this many webinars, and I need to do joint venture Facebook shares with this many people, so on and so forth, right? That's essentially how you're going to map out the sequence leading into your event, right? So if that wasn't clear, I want to make sure that's super clear. Then the nuances within it, the stick strategy, right? So when you are doing a virtual event, one, I highly recommend it be a paid ticket. Now, when you're doing a masterclass, that's free, right? But when you're doing a 1-day or a 3-day virtual live event, that needs to be a paid ticket because the audience now has skin in the game. They need to also be a participant in actually showing up. If they just get a free ticket, we're seeing, 50, 60, 70% no-show on a free ticket for a 3-day event. And a 3-day event, there's a lot of time, energy, effort, things that go into it. You want to make sure people are showing. So that's one key piece. The other key piece is you want to make sure that you have a sequence in place, a nurture campaign, so to speak, of when they purchase the ticket to when they actually show. So I use the terminology ACE, attract, connect, enroll. You have to ACE them. So even though they said, yes, I'm coming, I'm interested, I bought a ticket, you have to ACE them. You have to attract, connect, and enroll them to actually show up to the event. Just because they bought the ticket does not mean they show up. So that would be the second piece that I see people, event hosts, really falter on, is not actually continuing the nurture sequence to get them to show up to the event. And then when they're at the event, what is the sequence of reminding them, hey, we're back from lunch. Hey, we've got this going on. We're coming back to the evening session. We're doing this piece now. You have to be in constant communication, and it's going to feel a little overwhelming. You're like, but I'm sending them so many messages. The thing is, you're competing with everything else in their life, right? Especially if it's a virtual live event. If it's an in-person live event, they're there, they've showed up, they paid the ticket, they've got the hotel room, they're there. If it's a virtual live event, you need to remind them because the dog needs to go outside, the kids are asking to be fed, whatever is happening. All of a sudden the sprinkler system is going off and they have a huge fountain showing up in their backyard, right? Like you've got to be in front of them and remind them. And keep them top of mind of why they wanted to show up in the first place.
Mm.
So don't wait to the last minute to think about how you're going to go from ticket to actually show. Then you have, once they've shown, how do they stay? And what does that sequence look like? And then what does the post event look like communication wise? Because we know a percentage of people are going to say yes and raise their hand and say, I need your help. I need your support. I need your accountability to help me move through this. And those are the ones that are saying, yes, I want to move into your program. You have the people that may not have seen the offer. So how do you support them? And then you have the people that need to think about it a little bit more. How do you support them? So you can do all of this planning before the event even starts. So then when you hit the event, you're just loving on the people that are actually there and everything else becomes automated.
Yeah. Woo! Amazing, amazing, amazing wisdom and a lot of great information. And I think, yeah, you hit the nail on the head with two of those big gaps that um, a lot of us might be facing as, we use this business model to scale in and to do more good in the world with the work that we're doing. Shay, I love this. So what is it that you actually offer? Do you offer the strategy behind this with people? Like, tell me a little bit more regarding what is it that you specifically offer and how do you specifically help?
Yeah, absolutely. So we are running these events all the time. Like we are constantly looking at the marketplace, what's working, what's not working. So in the past 2 3 weeks, well, even month and a half, we've had a number of events from in person to hybrid to virtual live to being in studio virtual live. And the market is different. The market's different pre-COVID. The market is different from when we hit COVID to where we're at now. And how people are buying is different. So we're tweaking and adjusting the flow, the arc, the run of show. So what we do is we support you in the strategy. We're going to tell you what's working, what's not working right now. We're going to co-create the run of show or the agenda for you so it actually sets you up for success and supports the audience in going on a journey with you. We're going to take a look at your offer to make sure that it's actually going to work and it's going to land and it's what people are buying right now. Because even the offers that people are receiving has changed, right? If you've got people that are worried about a recession, how are they going to, want to purchase whatever it is that you're offering, and how do we tweak and adjust it so that it is an easy yes and it is a no-brainer? So we're looking at the strategy, we're looking at all of those pieces, and we're helping you to actually implement and run your team, support you in bringing in all of our outside vendors that are the AV team that know sales and enrollment events. We're doing the hotel negotiations to actually get you clauses in place. Can I just tell you really quick? The hotels right now are crazy. We had somebody put in a clause that we took out, but it would have charged our client $15,000 more pre-event just because.
Mm.
Just because they wanted to have a little buffer should we choose more food and beverage or whatever. And I'm like, no, our client needs to keep that money pre-event. So we're taking these things out because they're trying to make their money back from what happened during COVID, right? So, like, we're looking at all the little intricate details to make it so that you have the foundation and you have the support that you need so that you can just show up on stage and do what you do best, which is engage with your audience, show them how you get them crazy awesome results, and support them in moving forward in the next call to action, which is to move forward with you.
Yeah, I mean, your work is so needed because you have the strategy, you have the steps, and that's what's missing out there, right? I see that people put together a lot of different events with not a clear strategy just because they probably have seen someone else do it and they're like, okay, maybe I'll try something similar. But there's a lot more to the strategy of, why you're doing what you're doing so that you have that clear focus and you can meet your goals, because at the end of the time, your time is very valuable, right? And even the people that join you, and increasing, those participation rates for people that attend the event so they get that transformation or quick win or whatever is it that you are, putting the events together around. It's important, right? Because otherwise, just like anything we do with business, you can be amazing in what you do, but if you don't understand the strategy behind your marketing and sales, then you're not going to be able to create impact and provide the transformations. And I find this is a very similar approach as well. Well, Shay,
Well,
thank you so much.
absolutely. I just want to say real quick, that's why the 5 phases is so important, because a lot of people out there are teaching a phase 4, phase 5 way of doing things when really you're in phase 2 or phase 3 or wherever, right? And so it doesn't actually fit into your business plan. Or even if you are in the same phase, it may not fit into your business plan. So it's really important to know what events you should be using at what time in your business. Otherwise, you might lose your shirt.
Absolutely. That is crucial. Well, thank you so much, Shay. Where is it that people can continue the conversation? I know you have amazing resources also available for people that are
Yes.
curious around this conversation, just like I was. We'll definitely connect afterwards as well. So, where
Yeah.
is it that they can continue the conversation with you?
Yeah, they can go to all of our social media is graceandeaseproductions.com. If you're interested in the 5 phases, we can drop the link to 5phases.info. That's spelling out the word 5 phases with an S.info. And if you're like, Shay, I really just want your eyes on what it is that I'm doing right now and making sure I'm doing it properly, you can head over to eventsarepowerful.com and we'll support you there too.
All right, there you go. And also, Shay is inside our live school community, so you're able to connect with her there. And we're going to include the link to the free resource also Shay has for our community. Well, Shay, I want to thank you for all the amazing work you're doing out there in the world and for the passion you bring behind the world, behind your work, I should say. And also the amazing wisdom that you shared with us in such a short time. I feel like I should bring you back for more of the strategy piece that we just started to talk about because there's so much to learn and you have so much wisdom and information. So I want to thank you for your time and all the work you're doing out there. Thanks again. And I want to thank you for watching this amazing podcast. You know what to do, subscribe and leave us a review so we can bring more amazing guests just like Shay. And you know what? Share this with other entrepreneurs that you feel that creating events might be in their desires, but they don't necessarily know how to actually get the strategy behind it. I think this episode will definitely be of high impact and of high service to those entrepreneurs as well, and definitely have them connect with Shay. Thank you so much. I will see you with another show and another amazing guest and conversation. Bye, everybody. I want to share with you the 4 books that would change your life personally and professionally. So, the first book is Connecting the Dots Backwards, one of the books I've written that will help you connect the dots between your past, your present, and your future life vision. You will find topics in there around marketing, sales, spirituality, relationships, all the areas that you need to be fulfilled as a human being. The second book that I've written, which is a journal, accompanies the Connecting with the Dots book. And this journal will help you apply the information that you learn in the book into a journal. It has self guided questions that you can go through and into to get the clarity that you need to discover your values, your vision, and your mission. This is a journal attaching the book as well. And then Purpose Driven Entrepreneurship is my latest book where I have included my legacy framework in building legacy businesses, everything from mindset, branding, marketing, sales, systems, and team. And I have connected all the dots between all those areas so that you have the fundamentals that you need to build a truly legacy empire. And then my latest creation is the Focus on Purpose Planner for increased productivity and efficiency, where I have included a framework around your productivity where you can plan ahead, work on purpose, and leave amazing impact on the planet with your work. You can find any of my books on the website below, elonaloparicoaching.com books. And definitely grab your copy. Let me know, leave me a review on Amazon, and let me know how this book has impacted you and changed your life.